What's up guys, welcome back. I'm Chris Doughty, aka Doughtinator, and today we're going to be reserve driver. This week is Le Mans Group 1 cars and it's an absolute chaos. Here we see reserve drivers managed to get himself into a top split lobby. Some super fast drivers in here, got max power, very fast A+ rated driver and a bunch of other A+ rated drivers. So we're going to see how we get on here. Requirements for this race is to use the hard and medium compound tyres, 2 times fuel, 7 times tyre wear in the Group 1 cars. Now here we go to the race. Also lining up in this race is PX Cam, very good YouTuber, a lot of streaming, a lot of great video content. He's on his UK account here. As we can see from the grid, we're qualified a little bit further down the grid than we would like. With Le Mans, it's very difficult to get a good lap time. For a start, the lap is such a long lap, so any small error basically blows that lap. That's 3 minutes 20 down the drain. Track limits here are absolutely questionable at best, and we're going to get this thing on the road now. Starting in, well, I thought I was starting in 11th, but it seems we've been promoted to 9th, maybe through some disconnects. We're starting in the chicane, really difficult to get through here. We're going to start on the hard tyres, so we're going to go for a slightly alternate strategy here. The hybrid power, we're in the Toyota TS050. The hybrid power of this car is ridiculous, so accelerating from second gear right up to fourth gear, we're going to dominate a lot of the other drivers here as we run right into turn 1, and we just managed to gather it up. The hard tyres going into there on lap 1 are not going to be good for me, as we're now going to go into the sequence of corners in the first sector of the lap, looking to just trying to catch onto someone's slipstream so we get a tow down the straight. Difficult corner here. This is one of my hardest corners on the track. It looks like a driver ahead of us got a penalty there for maybe track limits. We're going to just about get in the slipstream of Sam Johnson. Luckily we managed to tow onto the back of him, and we're going to start to gap the cars behind us, which is exactly what we need to do. The difference between the hybrid cars and the Group C cars or the VGT cars is huge with top speed, as we're going to close right into the back of Sam Johnson now. We're going to look to get a great exit here, and we could be in a superb shape to put a move as we are in the slipstream now. We're going to be closing in. Let's see if Sam's going to defend this position or not. We're going to go to the left, and we're going to fantastic Bentley livery there on Sam's car. We've got that move done now, so we're looking ahead. It looks like like a Group C car ahead maybe, and we are going to be just out of slipstream range, so it's going to be a tough slog down the next straight. We've got a good exit, and that's the important thing. Moving forward now, at the end of lap 1, we're going to dive into the pits. Braking for this pit stop is very difficult. You've got to drive the chicane in, and then you finally get the pit stop animation. We're going to switch to medium tyres. We're going to fast forward the pit stop because it's a 30-second pit loss. The crew go to work on the fantastic Frey Bentos mil-spec livery car there, and we're going to exit the pit lane. Now we're going to be driving to the end of the race on medium tyres. We're going to get that stint done early. Looking ahead, the 787B of the Spanish driver, he's going to play a key role for us. We're going to be trying to get up to the back of him and use his slipstream down the long straight, the Mulsanne straights, to try and offset the deficit of our slow top speed in the TS050. We've closed right into the back of him now, and this is absolutely ideal for us. On our outlap, we're getting some free speed from thanks to the rotary crazy engine in that 787B. He's just absolutely disappeared, and he's managed to collect himself a half-second penalty for track limits. Again, that is absolutely ideal for what we want to do in this race. We're down in 13th position after our pit stops, and we're hoping to be fighting through the field as the race progresses. So a half-second penalty to serve ahead for the Spanish driver, and this is going to show exactly the difference in top speeds between the cars. So he's served his half-second penalty. We are barely closing in. We are in the slipstream of this car ahead, and he's just going to drop the hammer and start to disappear as the top speed of that 787B is unbelievable. We're topping out about 205 miles an hour. I think that 787B will be about 230 by the end of the normal straights. As we close in massively on the brakes, our advantage is through the corners and on acceleration. So we're going to barely close into the back, but again, that 787B is punching a hole in the air, and we're just going to follow it through and get some free speed. Look at the gap to the car behind. Because we've been in the slipstream, we are starting to extend that. The car behind is in the same car as us. As we're braking into this very difficult corner here, a big braking zone, we're going to get a great apex there. We are right behind him, and then check out the hybrid power here. We just launch it out the corner as we fire down this straight. 787B will be fighting back, top speed now. We're going to be starting to fade as the top speed of that car actually has. Oh, it's unbelievable. The whole race is all just cat and mouse. Acceleration dominance from the hybrid cars, and then the top speed from the VGT and Group C cars is insane. As we're going to switch to TV camera now. Fantastic looking cars. I really love the Group 1 cars. As we're going to get amazing drive out this corner here. We're going to switch to the grass, mow the grass and get the overtake done on that 787B, and then we're going to have the typical cat and mouse fight back as he gains on the top speed. Unfortunately for us, he's managed to get back in front of us at the worst possible time. The last sector of this track is where we can really make some lap time up, but we're now stuck behind a car which is compromised in the twisty stuff. As you can see, we're all over the back of the Spanish driver called Israel for some reason. That's particularly confusing, but let's just leave that aside. As we're going to go into the final forward chicane here. I was hoping he was going to pit. It doesn't look like it, so we got on the brakes. We slightly misjudged that, get a bit out of line, and really screw that one up. But luckily he gets a big kick of oversteer. We pick up a penalty, but we managed to clear that 787B, which leaves us free to attack the track, although we have picked up a half-second penalty. That we have cleared the 787B. In this first sector of the track, this is where the hybrid cars really do have a huge advantage. Through the twisty stuff, a lot of acceleration zones, and we're going to be maximising what we can do on the medium tyres and trying to make that gap to the cars behind. We've got a half-second penalty. It looks like Sam Johnson's followed me through on that 787B, so he seems to have just disappeared. I don't know if there's been an incident recovering from that small mistake there, but crucial part of the race now. We need to basically not fall behind or not fall into the clutches of Sam for slipstream. So I need to be hitting my braking points absolutely perfectly as we're about to serve that half-second penalty after this chicane. Absolutely nail the braking points there, brushing the curbs on inside for each of the corners, and great exit. We're going purple there in the first sector. That goes to show the dominance of the hybrid cars in the first sector of this race. And it looks like we are not going to be threatened by Sam. We've managed to get rid of that half-second penalty. Very painful to take down the Mulsanne straight, but we've managed to get that done, as we're going to try and nail this brake point again, brushing the apexes and really starting to make use of that hybrid power on the exit of the corners here. Skipping forwards now, this is the start of lap 5. We've really kind of maintained our position until now, but this is where the action's going to kick off. Gr1 Power ahead has had a bit of a strange strategy in this race. Perhaps he's got confused with tyre choice, but he's a super fast driver and it should be quite a bit further ahead than he actually is. As we're going to be closing into the back of another 787B, this time Italian driver. We're going to be trying to employ the same tactics again, use that 787B to punch a hole in the air, and we're going to follow him down these straights and get some free speed. If you are enjoying this video so far, drop a like, let me know in the comments below what you've been thinking of the Le Mans this week, and if you've not subscribed already, consider subscribing. We always enjoy making great content for you, and all the subscribers we can get is always appreciated. As you can just see, that 787B is just checked out down the straight. We're trying to hit our braking points absolutely perfect into the corners here, and we are exiting the chicane. We've closed in a massive amount on that 787B. Back in slipstream range, free speed again for us. As you can see, the gap behind to Sam, it will just be opening up all the time as we're getting a bit of a speed boost, and it looks like there might be some interaction ahead as the 787B will be closing in on Gr1 Power. Absolutely nailing those chicanes for us now in this Toyota TS050. As the weeks progressed, we've got much better at the track. Le Mans is a very difficult track to learn. It's such a long track. It can become quite disheartening if you're just picking up a small penalty almost every single lap. But we've managed to get there, as we're going to get hard on the brakes now. Turning in second gear, I found it's best to just not drop to first gear, as we are right on the back of the 787B. Hybrid power kicking in as we're going to go drag racing once more. I think you all know what's going to happen now. Theme of the video is the top speed of that 787B is unbelievable. In fact, he's going to be very threatening to Gottmach's power ahead by the end of this straight. And we are going to be closing into another difficult corner. You've got to cruise into the corner, brake on the exit of the corner in time for the left-hander there. We're going to get a massive amount of drive out the corner with our hybrid, side by side with the 787B as we turn in. Not sure if there was contact or not, whether it had gone too deep, but the 787B's had a big off there, which releases us from the 787B, and we should be able to get into this last sector before we get overtaken, so we're going to make the most of it. In the lead there is Squalor. Pit stop time is about 30 seconds, and that's going to be close. Looking at the delta to the leader, he's going to pit, taking his mediums off and going onto hard tyres for the final lap. A lot of cars coming into the pits now, so this is really going to shuffle the outcome, as we're going to try and maximise our last sector. No cars ahead. Make the most of that hybrid power in this TS050, braking into the final chicane, third gear through the first part, dropping to second for the second part of the chicane, and then trying to get a good exit onto the start-finish straight. We are keeping an eye on the pit exit, as we're going to see what's going to happen as the cars start to filter out the pit lane. There is Squalor. We're going to just get around the outside of him. It looks like a Group C Nissan, so that is going to provide a huge threat down the Mulsanne straight. We're going to try and get the best we can exiting the corner through this first sector. We really need to hit our marks and capitalise on the advantage that this car has through the first sector. Critical corner coming up now. This determines your maximum speed down the straight as we hit a nice apex there. Don't run too wide, and we get down the Mulsanne straight for the final time. We know that car behind us is ridiculously fast at top speed, and we are as fast as we can go now. We're going to keep glancing back now and just check a look at the delta there to the car behind. Squalor is closing in massively. We keep checking over our shoulders. The car's getting bigger and bigger. He's not going to make it into this turn. We need to just get a good exit from the corner here as we go maybe a little bit too deep on the brakes. Exiting the corner now. Again, checking the delta, looking back. If that car gets ahead of us down the straight, then that's going to really screw our race up, as we're not going to really be able to get the overtake done again until the final sector. All the time glancing back, the car looming large in the mirrors as we manage to get into the second chicane, still ahead of Squalor, and we hit our apexes really nicely. Superb driving in this race, I've got to say. I didn't really make too many mistakes apart from that track limits penalty early on, which ended up not causing too many problems. This is probably the longest part of the straight now. Again, glancing back all the time. It's like you're being chased by the killer in a horror movie. As we make that apex perfectly, get a good exit out the corner again. We are going personal best on this lap so far. So we're doing everything right, but is that Group C car going to get ahead of us before the corner ahead? Keep an eye on that delta. It keeps coming down and down and down as we progress down the straight, and we're going to look for our braking point here, and we're going to make this corner, and the tyres are slightly worn by this point now for us, so we do need to be cautious on the brakes. Don't want to go too deep. Another very difficult corner coming up. You've got to go way slower than you think. Gottmach's power seems to be coming back to us now, so so we know we've got a good pace, and it looks like the gap to Squalor is going to be enough. All we need to do now is make sure we carry speed through Porsche curves, which we know the car has an advantage through, and it looks like we're going to be making it to the finish line. Fourth place is on the card here, which is a fantastic result in a top split lobby, starting from what was 9th on the grid. If you are enjoying this race, consider subscribing, drop a like if you liked it, and let me know how you're getting on at Le Mans this week. as we're going to be looking to make a great end to the race through the Ford chicane for the last time. The leaders finished the race, and we're going to squeeze through the chicane, get a drive to the line, and that's going to put us in third place. Okay. Oh, it looks like the leader or someone who finished above us didn't take the tyres, and they got a 1 minute penalty, so that promotes us to third place. Podium finish for a reserve driver. How's about that? If you enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next one.